chegando aí. Vamos ver a Hera, galera. Tá na hora. Todo mundo em silêncio agora, hein? Não quero ver ninguém falando. Ouviu, Sirius? Ok. Vamos um videozinho aí. Então alguém bateu palma ali. Não sei porquê. Não sei porquê.
It's time to get into Hera. I know you guys have been waiting, so let's get right to it. Joining me here to discuss Hera and reveal her, Ben, leader of the art squad, Richard, leader of all of us ever forever, and Pon, leader of Hera Design.
Será que vai ser apelando igual
Let's get
Zeus?
to it, guys. Are you guys excited?
Yes,
Tomara.
super excited. Finally get to talk about it.
Vamos ver.
In a little bit, but we are very, very excited for it. So, if a lot of people will probably be very familiar with Hera's story, but for those who aren't, why is she such a big deal in the lore?
So she is the wife of Zeus. She has a hand in almost anything that goes on in lore. She has a lot of stories where she is essentially from high above, kind of manipulating all the
Caraca, mano,
gods into doing kind of what she wants, what the outcome she wants to have.
Não foi o bate-palma, não.
She's involved in major stories. Not only that is she involved in major stories, but her partner Argus, who's going to be joining her on the battlefield, is involved in many stories, particularly the one with Io, where he's sent to kind of guard. He's guarding someone that Hera has punished for transgressions. But Argus on his own also has some really cool lores. I believe Echidna, I believe, is one of the people he defeats in lore. So he's kind of a big deal on his own, giant guy with eyes all over him, and as you can see, has many faces and eyes all over his body. So pretty cool stuff.
What was this an obvious choice for us to put Argus with Hera? Was there any consideration?
Tá na hora, mostra aí pra nós aí, mano.
That design discussion.
Quero ver a Hera.
We were looking for kind of like a unique thing that we wanted to do with Hera. Hera has divine power. She has
Libera Hera.
so it made sense for her to have more kind of the summoner playstyle where she's controlling an entity, and she has
Libera
a
Hera.
very easy hook with Argus being this monstrous giant. So
Libera Hera.
early
Boa
designs.
tarde, Papai
All
Nil.
right, well, let's take a look at Hera in game.
Agora vamos ver.
Time. You're excited to reveal her. There she
Ó, o
is,
design
in
ficou
all her
legal, hein?
glory. Alone for now, but
Yes.
but not for long. Richard and Ben, how important was it for
Ficou legal o
us to
design
make sure
dela.
that Hera still, even without Argus at her side, had that commanding presence about her?
I think it's important for us to make her feel regal. As Queen of the Gods, you want to make sure visually
Elegant
and also
and
narrative. Elegant and dope. I like that. That's a good.
That's it.
Those are two key pillars right there.
Right.
That's art direction, people. Yeah, if you want to be an art director, you got it right there.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, we want to make sure that she, she didn't feel like super crazy. Like that's the regal part, right? You want to still make her feel like very feminine but classy, but at the same time
Acredite
she
com
has
mais
to stand
roupas.
out on her own. We try to have
Será?
some peacock elements in there to help with that. And when Argus is on the battlefield, it's like you want to make sure that she is just as impressive, but it's like a dichotomy where he's like the bulk and the strength.
Right.
He's more like just like brute looking with like massive shapes. She's more elegant, soft. So I think having that be the key point was part of it.
It's like Cersei in the mountain.
That's right.
Yeah,
It's like
exactly.
Cersei in the mountain.
Ela anda,
We
mas
all
ela
know, even
fala
though
o quê,
Argus is
cara?
the
Ela
big dude
anda.
who's really in control
Yeah.
in this position, and it is certainly Hera. Looks great in that game. Her walk animation definitely does.
Porque ela tá com os
convey
buffs da Scylla, porque o
classiness and
jogo,
elegance,
eles
but
estão numa
also
versão
the
de
power
desenvolvimento
that
ali,
she
aí buga.
provides.
I think John did an amazing job with her hips.
Aí fica bugado
Yeah.
na tela.
It's wonderful. She still is elegant, beautiful, but also is very sensual.
Right, exactly. There's the front view of what you can see with Hera. What your enemies will be seeing is you run at them in the mid lane, as she is a mage, to be noted. So let's talk about the passive here. I already used this phrase, I think subconsciously. Her passive is called Commanding Presence.
Yep, so this is really to kind of enable her to have this kind of summoner playstyle. What we wanted with the ultimate, which when we get to it, it brings Argus into existence. but Commanding Presence allows Argus to be up way more often depending on how well you're doing as Hera. So each time you deal damage to a god, so this can be with your basic attacks or with your abilities, you'll reduce the cooldown of Argus by 1 second if it's on cooldown.
Quando a Hera dá dano em deuses inimigos, se o Argus estiver inativo, ele vai ter o cooldown diminuído. Se Argus estiver ativo, ele vai ser curado.
Get to him later, I suppose. In fact, let's just take a look at that first ability,
Interessante.
Royal Assault, and one that I'm super excited about.
Yes,
Eita
so
porra.
you got to see it there. It's a multi-targeter ability.
Será que
one
dá
with
stun?
an immediate cone in front of you that does damage, and then one that opens portals for these fists to come through and deal damage. So it's a tag team
Só dá
between
dano.
Hera and Argus right off the bat.
So you get to summon Argus's fists.
Legal,
which are
legal.
Just absolutely
Dá dano,
enormous.
dá dano,
in
dá
this
dano,
position.
tá on, tá
It looks
bom.
like there's a little
Dá dano inicial e
line
depois
in the
outro
middle of
dano,
that
né?
targeter as well.
Yep, that's the double hit area. So you can actually double hit. It'll deal 15% increased damage. We've had other similar abilities in
Bacana.
hit areas when you find that that slight bonus damage makes it feel rewarding to get that a little bit without making the ability too variable.
And we wanted to make sure that there is some sort of hint that Argus's fists are about to clap your brain together, right?
Yeah.
I mean, those little portals that appear on the side. How much did the art team have to work with the timing of that to make it feel pretty good while still giving you
Dá dano
enough
naquele cone
window
e na área.
I mean, the feel is everything, right?
Dá dano
like,
perto dela
gameplay-wise,
também, né?
You know, it's gonna feel okay. Think as it's playing, it's the animation timing and the sound effects and the like effects that are happening all in unison. Having that kind of work in tandem is the key to making that all feel
Dá
good.
dano perto dela
I think
também.
it's a lot of it's just animation, really, because there's like when you see the fist hit,
Nossa.
there'll be like there's a lot of secondary motion that kind of happens. and
Empurra,
then
cara.
when it stays there, you know, so
Right.
it feels like that.
Mas olha, só
the
funciona com
timing
minions.
here is
Deuses
it
não
looks like it
funciona. Deuses
knocks
não
back
funciona,
minions,
só
is that the-
minions
So
daí,
does it
né?
knock them back to a set distance, or does it always go to where the portals are?
It will always go to where the portals are. We wanted Hera. She's the queen of the gods.
Legal,
These minions
legal.
are not a major threat to her, so she just swipes them away, throws them right into
Com
the range
deuses
of
não
Argus's
funciona, é só
fists.
com minions.
It's a great wave clear tool. It feels really impactful. It's like this nice wombo combo you get to do with Argus, and it has some very high level applications of being able to manipulate the minion wave.
Se fosse com deuses ia ser muito OP, tá
And he was
ligado?
go try and breath the wave.
Empurra
and
só
then you just
minions.
push the minions away, and they were suddenly gone. And so it really helps you get the feel for this being a tag team ability from them, and it's really cool because when you actually kill them all with it, they go flying into the air.
I really love this ability because it's not only thematically relevant, but also
Funciona nos minions dando ar? Não sabemos, né? Quem sabe?
Right.
in lane, so it's a really cool addition to it.
And chat is always clamoring for unique targeters and different sort of ability styles, and this certainly fits that bill. Can't knock them up.
No, can't
and
get them over the wall.
walls. Yeah, fair enough. But they'll try. At
Yep.
least they'll try to get up.
Imagina isso com a
I do
bomba do
love the
cupido. Já pensou
get
se
off
você
me,
combate?
peasants, sort of like, you know, dismissive sweep that she
Yeah.
gives to the minions.
Can you do Royal Assault?
O Edu diz que esse knockback nos minions é bom pra solo
You
lane.
can throw you can open up the portals through the walls. They will appear on the other side of that wall. But trying to throw minions over the wall, you can't quite do
Yeah.
that. That would cause a few situations where it's like, well, I just don't want the minion waves to ever move, so I'm going to throw them into speed camp, and they just will stay there.
But you can do some picks through the jungle like that too, right?
Yeah.
Steal camps.
Yep.
You
make
can
some
steal
picks.
camps. You can shoot through walls.
Ok, atrás
If
da
someone's
parede
trying to fleet
funciona.
you and you have a good idea where they are, you can definitely hit them with this ability.
Pon, do you want to go over the second ability next, or do you want to save that one?
Será a
until
salvação do
after?
Smite?
The
Não.
second one, I think people are going to lose their minds. I just don't know.
Salvação do
if
Smite
gotta-
tá,
we gotta
tem que
go
ser
in order.
outras
All right, we got to
coisas.
go in order. The second ability is polymorph, and
Yes.
I'll just let you see what happens here. That's a centaur now.
Ok, tem.
Yeah, let's
Você
throw
tem
one
uma
more time,
espécie
see
de
what
silence
happens.
ali,
Okay, so
que é
he's a
aquele
centaur
Como é que
He
é?
doesn't look-
Polemelizado.
that is a harpy.
Yes, that is a
Transforma o
harpy.
inimigo ali.
So this ability has a very long windup into
Okay.
a line projectile that
Causa
passes
dano
through enemy
também.
hits. If it's
Bacana.
minions, it just deals damage to them. But if it hits a god, it will polymorph them. And the unique thing about this is it will polymorph them, so that's a silence disarm effect. It will polymorph them into a random minion from the map.
Bacana,
So
dá dano
any
em
jungle
linha
creature
também,
from the map,
atravessa minions.
you'll get to pick from. So this works in Clash, this works in Joust. In Assault, it'll always be a Harpy because we had to have something because Assault
Sure.
doesn't have a jungle camp. And it's unique per target. So if you hit these 5 Odins conveniently lined up, they are
Nossa,
all
ela pega em
different
todos
things.
os deuses
My lord.
que estiverem em
That is
linha?
so cool. That is
Yes.
so sick. Okay, so Ben, as for the art team, when Pawn comes to you and says, "I want to turn every god into a jungle minion," How long does it take security to peel you off of him, and how hard is it really?
What we do is we say, "Hey, programmers, can you do this for us?"
Okay, so it's the programming who gets very angry upon in this situation.
The big concern was, do these models have the ability to walk around and look normal? Because normally we don't give players control of walking around with those models.
Em todos os deuses é complicado, hein?
But if we're pulling from the map assets themselves, we get to have these really cool effects where we're pulling from the map.
Funciona com os gatos abastecem? Não sei, cara. E aí, Vitória Batista, seja bem-vinda.
Gotcha. So you can move around.
Extra models.
Yeah.
It saves us time too.
Yeah, perfect.
What's the duration of polymorph?
Galera, chegamos a 500 pessoas na live. Muito obrigado. Batemos um recorde de vários meses aí. Estamos chegando, hein? 500 pessoas, 362 likes. Eu acho que a gente consegue 450 pelo menos para subir a cada vez mais os degraus da nossa escalada. Já estamos em 6º lugar no YouTube de lives de games. Estamos chegando, hein?
So we felt like this duration really helped kind of give the
Atravessa a parede também.
Is this basically, for all intents and purposes for the players, just a fancy silence in a lot of ways?
It's silence disarm, which has different benefits, but essentially it's kind of a fancy. We did this for Kernanos, which was the polymorph effect, which is silence disarm. Right. And so now we've kind of solidified that as a CC type. Polymorph is what silence and disarm at the same time are.
Okay.
O problema é a velocidade da skill, de longe consegue desviar de boa, mas você comba com habilidades, põe uma gema de isolamento, joga um no cara e depois joga 2. Primeira vez aqui, falei Adélio, seja bem-vindo, obrigado pela presença na minha live. Se inscreve no canal aí e comece a acompanhar, cara. Faço gameplays de Smite e jogo outros jogos também. Pode combar um com a 2. 2 segundos de silence é tempo pra caramba, é. É muito tempo. Talvez eles nerfem pra 1.25.
Up close, it'll be pretty easy for her to, not easy necessarily, but easier for her to hit a solo laner who's right on top of her to give herself 2 seconds of window. But from far away, it is a pretty slow, it feels like.
Yeah, we gave it a lot, like this is ability from the get-go, we wanted to be slower.
Resumindo, a ult do Xenos é inútil. Não, continua sendo uma ult boa para um personagem que tem uma capacidade de fazer outras coisas, né?
So there's really a skillful element to this ability, which I love.
Very excited about Polymorph. Let's take a look at Divine Shroud, her 3rd ability. And this is one that is in lieu
ela ganha um escudo na 3ª habilidade, ó.
Hera doesn't.
Caraca, tio. Vou fazer escudo, vou fazer livro dos mortos pra ela e ver esse escudo aí, cara. Agora eu quero ver, hein? Segura a minha Hera.
And on the surface, this is a pretty solid move that you have as a mage.
Vai morrer, não.
You see you're about to get Scylla Crush and you can
Se
mitigate
quiser me matar, vai ter que tirar todos os meus
but it has an
escudos.
extra component with Argus, which is when Argus is out, he'll be fighting, he has movement speed, you can throw him at targets. When you shroud yourself in Divine Magic, you also shroud Argus in Divine Magic.
Só por curiosidade, o vídeo de...
bonus effects, you'll get bonus movement speed, and it'll pulse on aura. So when you're just playing by yourself, it's a strong defensive tool. When you're playing with Argus, it can become an offensive tool very quickly.
Oh, that's really cool.
Não tem escape, não precisa de escape, tem muito controle.
It lasts for 5 seconds, so you can use it preemptively, or if you see it coming, you can just pop it to make sure.
Vai trazer build dela assim que sair, assim que estiver no PTS, eu já vou fazer uma build pra ela.
Play around it, they can choose to focus other targets until it's down, or it can just burn through it pretty quickly.
250 at base right now, of course, all numbers with all.
Vale lembrar que ela ainda tem ultimate, que ainda não foi mostrado, amiguinhos.
And
I love the visual effects of this, the iridescent shine.
It's so clean. You know, there's no, it's perfect.
É mais rápida que o seu marido. Mas na build dela você vai colocar o anel do xamã com certeza, tá ligado? Então a build dela, ó, já tem uma build aqui pra ela. Você faria sapatos do foco, livro de Tote, livro dos mortos, anel de xamã, gema de isolamento e fecha com uma redução de intervalo que pode trazer um item
you don't have it as often. When it's down, there's a definite window for you to deal with it. And it doesn't go really.
Você pode trazer uma lança da desolação se você quiser penetração, etc. E tal.
So it's not one of those that like gets a cheat and it's really 11-second cooldown. It's a full 16-second cooldown.
Right. And we have done shields of this nature before, Ben, but this one.
Falou, Matheus, boa faculdade pra você. Vai ter live de noite? Vai. Às 18 horas. 18 horas tem live stream, tá, galera?
I'm just brawling it out, you know.
Baluarte, livro dos mortos e escudo.
Right, exactly. This one is very again, almost dismissive. Like, this is just something Hera feels like doing right now.
that whole elegance theme, right? We want it to be clean, a lot of cool colors going in there, but you can see her specifically in there.
Escudo é pra ela.
And you get the framing of the shield, so we want to keep it like you still focus on.
Gema de isolamento pra qual skill dela? Pra 1.
Elegant kind of like shield with all these colors.
Pra dar lentidão.
I think we've waited long enough to see
mais utilidade, né? Você já tem um personagem que tem controle bacana. Nossa, ela sumona em cima dos caras, velho. É como eu pensava, ele é a gargantua. É a gargantua do Nazibo. Por que os haters xingam a gente por seres brock? Os haters são zoados.
He is the muscle.
Yeah, I'll say. So how does
é a garganta do Heroes of the Storm,
first you summon
né,
him in,
Nazibo.
she'll actually open a portal up from the sky. Again, things are work in progress, so something's not happen. We didn't see the portal that time. But she'll open a portal in the sky, he'll fall, come crashing down, knocking up and damaging anyone in the path.
Legal, gostei.
And then you can control him similar to like Caldir Pet. We found that through experimentation with Nuwa minions, Caldir, we find that giving control over these kind of long duration pets or the pets that have really big impact is important to making the ability feel good. And so we wanted to give...
Ela vai lançar que dia pro console? Daqui 2 semanas.
40-second time limit.
Okay, 40 seconds is still a good amount of time.
Nossa, 70 segundos de cooldown? Eles vão aumentar pra 90. Eles vão aumentar pra 90. Dá no cap na hora que desce, cara. Eles vão aumentar pra 90, porque não dá. 70 segundos é muito baixo. Você faz uma redução de intervalo alta nela, ela vai ter isso daí quase toda hora, sem falar da passiva que reduz o intervalo.
Intelligent than just an AI that goes up and
Eles vão nerfar,
so he
cara.
has a unique attack chain. So when he connects with his punch, if he connects with his first punch, he'll go into an overhead slam that he does that's AoE and slows targets. If he hits with that, he will then he'll lift up the ground and do a line attack damage. So when he's in the middle of a team fight, he can get some residual damage as long as he's hitting.
Sim, nerfaram a garganta, sacanagem. A garganta antigamente era muito foda.
Find another target to start punching again, and then continue through that chain.
Okay, so it's only if they connect.
Legal, gostei do kit. Foi o que eu esperava, mais ou menos.
Can you CC Argus?
He has CC.
Tinha duas opções para essa ultimate, né? Ele dá slow ainda naquele pulo dele, Tinha duas opções para essa ultimate. Uma delas seria você evocava dessa forma, que seria parecido com a da garganta, né? Ou você evocava ele e ele assumia o lugar da Hera durante um tempo ali e você teria um novo kit de habilidades próprio do Argus, né? Eu acho que dessa forma aqui é muito mais interessante pro Smite. Porque o Smite não é um jogo tão dinâmico assim pra você fazer essas coisas aí. Então
I
acho
was
que
reading
legal.
through Reddit and talking with players about it in DMs and through the posts, and I messaged Ben. Was it Saturday? Maybe I guess a month ago. Time kind of just closing together, but I was like, Ben, man.
Dá pra fazer uma build focada só no bicho? Não, a build você vai fazer pra ela, já vai ajudar.
But we wanted to still have visual clarity, make it feel like what we wanted.
Sure.
And then Ben, I mean, how'd you handle that feedback?
Well, I mean, people want it to be lore accurate, and we want that as best we can too. But you know, we want to do that without.
Argus fica vivo quanto
compromising
tempo?
on
Acho
the
que até ser
design as a whole.
destruído,
So, like, a bunch of eyes
ou
everywhere
até
is
aquela
gonna be-
barrinha dele ali
like, it's just gonna be
descer, ó.
noisy. It's not. You're not gonna be able to like draw attention to
Acho que
focal
até
points.
ser
You're just gonna see a
destruído,
bunch of
né?
noise. So
Tenho certeza.
we figured let's have the areas that are kind of like the negative space.
Prevejo skin robótica pra ela, pode ser que sim.
White areas, they're gonna still read nicely at a macro level, right, as white. But then when you get in close, there's some etching in there. That
We
kind
were
of like,
yeah,
it's like
yeah.
a bossed eyes. So it's like still.
Ali não mostra a
We're
quantidade de
studying
tempo,
classic
então não sei.
architecture,
Right,
actually, like
yep,
classic architecture where you look
Não
from
sei te
afar,
dizer,
you can see
sinceramente.
there's a pattern there, but up close you can see the details.
Right.
So taking from that
Yep.
lesson, we implemented it into his body. You know?
Yeah, Richard sent me a picture of this floral pattern. He's like, we should do something like this. And I
Yeah,
was like, okay,
yeah.
let me take it from there.
Yeah.
Now, just a reminder for everybody: Hera will not be
Falou,
available
Otávio.
for
Bom
HRX
descanso,
and
cara.
DreamHack. A little bit too close. Players wouldn't be able to get used to her in a competitive setting, so you won't see her on the big stage there, but you'll be able to play her in your
Acho que o
games
cooldown é
and
muito
all that kind of
baixo,
good stuff.
entendeu?
Yep.
Certainly when that World Championship does
A
come
passiva
around.
dela
There,
fala
three,
que
I was
quando o
gonna
Argus
ask,
não está em
activate
campo, o
three.
dano
Yeah.
dela
That
reduz
pulsating
o
damage
tempo
that
das
happens.
habilidades dele.
That
Como
does
assim, já que
require
não
you
tem
use your
habilidade?
only
Não, não é
defensive
habilidades dele
cooldown
não.
on Hera
Reduz
if
ele
you
ser
want to have that
evocado,
damage.
entendeu?
Yep, and you can see if he has the
O
shield
tempo
active
dele
and
ser
Argus is
evocado.
summoned, it will happen. And it does quite a bit of
Acho
damage.
que o Argus
It
dura
actually is
40
a
segundos,
high
como
amount of
estava
scaling. So
escrito
if you can
quando
get Argus on
mostraram.
someone and
Desculpa,
get that
Nico.
full tick off, it's quite a bit of damage for that trade-off of losing potentially the survivability that you have.
Legal o kit dela.
Just a kind of a neat style to choose if you want to be really aggressive
Achei
with Argus
bem
or just
legal.
kind of play the more safe game and keep your defensive tool to yourself.
He really does move quickly whenever you activate that
Yep,
third ability.
50% boost.
Yeah,
He
he's-
goes fast.
Pessoas vão ter
He certainly
que
does.
One
se
speedy boy.
Go
adaptar.
fast. You were just mentioning playstyle. What do we expect from Hera in terms of
Ele tem uma malha mística
I
quando
think the
usa
one
3.
cool thing about Hera is the playstyle is less scripted. You can choose to use the shield more defensively or
Dá um daninho
offensively.
ali, né?
You have a consistent range poke, and you have with the one, so you can
Ela
choose
pode
to kind of
marcar o
poke for
cara pra ele ir
damage,
também,
or you
né?
can commit your hard CC into some more damage.
Legal.
And so rather than having just these set combos that players have within their toolkits, she's very open-ended in that regard, which fits for her because she is a planner, she's a tactician. She chooses the ability or
Ataque
to use
ele.
to that situation. She also has some kind of additional utility that lets her flex around a bit. We expect her to be a quite solid mid-mage.
Só falta
but
mapa bom.
you are bringing another tank into the battlefield.
Yeah.
Argus is relatively tanky, and let's say you and your hunter are up and you think that you can go for Gold Fury. Well, maybe you couldn't tank it before, but Argus can. So you throw Argus
Vai
down,
dominar o
let him
mid.
tank
Não
the
acredito
Gold
que esse
Fury while you
personagem
DPS.
seja bom
Argus might
mid.
die during that, but getting a Gold Fury is totally worth it. Late game Fire Giants
Mas
is a similar
certamente
story.
na solo ela vai
Plus, I
jogar
mean,
bem.
the idea is that you're using your passive in order to get Argus up more and more often.
Yeah.
Is that the idea? I mean, are you supposed to be
Porque
getting
no mid ela
Argus?
fica muito vulnerável à questão de
semi-consistently?
ganks.
Yeah, 70-second cooldown. It's reduced by the passive, and the passive really rewards you for playing Hera aggressively and getting those hits on gods. Because
Late
each
game é 2 da
individual hit
Scylla vai
ability
matar o
on a god
Argus.
will cause the passive to go down. So if you hit
Com certeza,
2
2 da Scylla mata qualquer coisa, tô gigante
that's
fogo.
2 seconds off. If you polymorph 5 targets, that's 5 seconds off. So each ability that you can kind of use to lower Argus's cooldown can be multi-hit.
Okay, so you
which
can
really-
really get Argus quickly if
Yeah.
you're playing well.
Build some cooldown reduction. He's up often, and we've kind of bounced around the idea that she's going to have access to Hera or to Argus pretty often.
So in Arena and Assault, you could have Argus up almost
Yeah.
always.
Sabe alguma informação sobre a nova arena? Cara, ainda não foi apresentado. Deve ser apresentado no próximo patch, alguma coisa assim. Eu sei que ela sai até dezembro, né? A
One that
gente
can
tem
be
aí
very
o quê?
effective in multiple different game
2,
types. So
3
I do want to
meses,
take a look. I see that we have the
basicamente.
recolor here, and I'm excited to see it.
Dezembro a gente
because
deve ver
So
ela.
good.
It says here on my sheet, this recolor is
Vamos ver a
so
recolor dela, como é que é?
good, multiple exclamation
Yes,
points.
'cause
And
it
they
is.
are right. That is awesome. I love it. The red instead of the blue. Does that it looks
Ela
like
pode ser
Argus
um
has changed
suporte?
as well in
Não
this
tem
recolor?
habilidades de suporte.
That looks really awesome.
Tem
We
silence
have
e
it
tal,
in game
talvez,
as well.
quem sabe.
This one, the white
Mas
hair
não tem
instead,
habilidades
a little bit,
de suporte.
this
Recolor
one feels a
legal.
little bit more dramatic to me in a way.
Yeah, it definitely does. You know, with the recolors, we try to find.
A
good
gema
color
funciona nos ataques
compositions
dele? Não
as
sei,
well,
tem que
and
ver
then
se
feel like
ativa
characters.
itens.
So we were trying to do something that still felt classy, but like you can't do a lot of like.
Galera, eu vou
neon
convidar
colors,
todos
so this
vocês
is
a
like
acompanharem a
classic
próxima
kind of
live
look.
stream que eu vou
It's-
fazer às
it's
18
a
horas
little more,
hoje ainda. Talvez eu vou
maybe
testar
Evil
ela,
Queen,
se tiver o
maybe, but, like,
PTS
it's
aberto, a gente vai poder
definitely,
testar ela, a gente vai
it
ver
looks
todas
pretty
as
good, I think.
habilidades e
Do
tudo
have to
mais.
still listen to that
E
voice pack and see
nessa
how
mesma
the
live
back
stream, só que na
animation and all
segunda
that kind of
parte
stuff,
dela,
I'm
né,
really
que
excited with those.
começa às 18 horas e a
Coincidental
segunda parte
animations,
dela
but I
às
also wanna
21
see
horas,
Argus in this
vai
recolor
ter
form.
código de skin pra quem quiser
Does
pegar código
Argus
de skin,
recall
tá
back
bom?
to base with you
Então estão
whenever-
todos
whenever you
convidados,
go?
sem falar que no
If
meu
you
Instagram,
recall back to base,
mais
you'll
tarde,
recall back to
depois da
base.
live stream de noite que eu vou fazer, mais tarde, lá pras 11 horas da noite,
Oh, yeah.
eu vou liberar
That is
mais um
awesome.
código de skin lá no meu
This
Instagram.
recolor is
Então,
so good.
é isso.
We have done the back. Jessica did an amazing job with
Vai logar no PTS?
Yeah,
Vou na
really
próxima
like
live, mais tarde.
Oh yeah, the
Right.
animations as a
animation.
whole.
Have you seen that? Yeah. So
Ouvi falar que vai ter opção de
very
escolher qual
much
lane você vai
the
jogar.
queen over
Sim,
here.
é verdade.
She doesn't
So
just back
cool.
herself. Argus
Entre aspas,
is
né?
going to be her
Dizem, mas ainda
throne.
não.
Oh my
Yeah,
god,
so-
she's so in, like.
I love the
don't
timing of her legs too. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
if you're a fan of Beyonce, your queen is now.
That's right.
Hera.
The queen is here without a doubt.
Don't give me a fake laugh, Pawn.
No,
Don't
it's
give me a
good.
fake laugh, man.
That was
They're
genuine,
saying,
come
they're
on.
saying.
Era vai ser
they're
lançado
giving
aqui
away.
2 semanas, sem ser essa segunda
The
agora
back
na
animations
próxima.
we really have stepped it up on recently. That's something that really impressed me with Baron, really impressed me with Pele, and now here with Hera as well.
And Hera has a whole bunch of lobby
Legal.
animations. Like Argus will join on the lobby screen. The hands will come out and clap.
Não
So
houve,
there's a
já
lot-
podemos escolher
there's a
lane
lot
com
that
esse
went
patch?
into
Não.
making Argus,
Já mostrou as skins? Já
be
sim,
more
Andrew.
often than just an evil.
Gotcha. That's super cool. Let's take a listen to the voice pack. We haven't done that quite
O
yet.
vídeo das skins já tá no canal. Não tem código do lock? Não, Zagoza.
Defend!
Só da
I
Nemesis
fight
da
for the
Sked.
safety of my people and kingdom. What do you fight
Ajuda o
for?
Golem full cadência. Eita porra.
Yes, very good. Yes,
Zero do
very
Sparta.
good. Zeus and I lived happily for a millennia.
I don't believe. Você nunca ganhou, cara. Que pena, tio.
Attack!
Galera, nós conseguimos chegar até o 6º
Yes,
lugar das
very
streams.
good.
There you go, Hera.
Agora a gente caiu pra sétima, mas a gente chegou até o sexto lugar, tá? Das maiores streams do YouTube de games hoje. Seria bom se todo mundo que acompanhou hoje acompanhasse todos os dias. Mas obrigado a todo mundo que apoiou a live aí, tanto na Twitch quanto no YouTube. Na Twitch a gente chegou a 100 pessoas. O pico no YouTube a gente chegou a 540 pessoas. No pico foi bem legal. Vamos ver se a gente continua mantendo pelo menos umas 200, 200 e poucas pessoas na live. O que é muito difícil, porque eu sei que na live mais tarde a gente vai ter umas 100 pessoas no máximo, mas tudo bem. Vamos trabalhando aí pra gente continuar aumentando o público do Smite.
Say thank you to all the love on Reddit and beyond. There's a lot of people saying great work and seeing how the
Pode dizer as habilidades dela? Vamos lá, habilidade número 1, recapitulando. É aquele soco que causa dano. Além disso, aquela área na frente dela empurra minions. Meu Instagram tá na tela, deixa eu colocar na tela pra vocês, @SiriusZero. Segunda habilidade dela, ela lança uma magia em um raio, né, na sua frente, assim. E Rafael Alves, que dá polimerizar os inimigos, que dá um silence de 2 segundos. Terceira habilidade é o escudo, a ultimate dela é o Argus. A passiva dela, quanto mais dano ela dá em adversários, mais diminui o cooldown do Argus. O Argus, ele é summonado, quando ele cai ele causa um knock-up em área. Além de dano, ele persegue os inimigos que ela marca, dá dano neles, dá lentidão também, se eu não me engano. Esse quando você vai liberar serve para PlayStation 4, serve sim.
Oh yeah, oh man, that is so cool. Star-studded.
Amanhã tem mais sorteio, Matheus. Vai ter sorteio todos os dias.
Can you imagine how much that would cost to have an armor, that much armor made of diamond? Yeah.
Quando era bufa 3, o Argus tá em campo de batalha, campo ele começa a dar dano em área de torre mística, percebeu? Eu vi, mas ele
don't lie to the community,
constantemente.
You said it, man.
I mean,
Polimorph.
I gotta talk to the Bill about how we're gonna make it work, but we'll try and make something happen here. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
O Argus é o
Hera,
caldo da
guys.
versão
Again, we're super excited for you to get your hands on her. PTS coming out when it's ready.